Hello and welcome to Thrash Life, episode 8. I'm your host, Ed, and this is my co-host, Kyle, and my other co-host, Kermit the Frog.
Welcome to the show, Kerm.
Welcome. This is a show where we talk about the intersection of music and life, thrash life, and we usually interview people on this podcast, but people have been sick recently, and this is yet another episode where we do not have a guest. So we'll be following up on some things that we talked about last week.
Yeah, let me start with the new segment that maybe we'll hopefully not be doing too much, but my apologies. I messed a few things up last time. When I was listening to it, I realized that I had confused Stevie Janowski from Eastbound and Down and Mike Wazowski from Monsters, Inc.
Oh.
So that was my mistake. And also I kept referencing 2019 when I meant to say 2020.
Well, who knows what year it is?
Time is less real than it's ever been. So,
yeah.
But still, those are
I think
my cleanups.
When I went and did the show notes, I corrected some names of the stuff that we talked about and such. So how you been in the past week? Did you finish Dexter?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, let's hear about it.
I don't like it.
No?
I didn't. No, it was. They should have. Now I feel like they should have just never done it.
Huh. Okay, that's disappointing.
Yeah, and it hasn't been long enough for me to blow it for everyone, but
Right.
The ending fucking sucks.
Oh man, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted it to succeed. On the other hand, it would probably be a while before I actually got around to watching it.
Yeah.
You know, last week we also talked about the Foo Fighters a little bit because I watched that movie, the documentary movie.
About the studio console.
Yeah, Sound City. They the Foo Fighters released a new trailer for a movie they call Studio 666, which is about a fictional studio. This one, I'm not sure if you saw this trailer at all.
No,
I think it just came out in the past week. They decided to make a movie where they are themselves. So they are the Foo Fighters in a fictional movie where they are going to try to record an album. And they go into a haunted house looking thing.
Right.
And they're like clapping and they're like, the acoustics in this room are great, you know? And so we're going to record in here. So they rent the house and they live in it, but it's a haunted house. So there's a bunch of demonic and spirit stuff happening to them. It actually looked interesting.
Stars the whole band?
Yeah, it stars the whole band. And I think it might even be like written by Dave Grohl or something. It's been a while since bands did movies.
Yeah. Is Jack Black in it?
No, I don't think Jack Black was in it.
I feel like this would be something he would be in.
Yeah, I guess that was like the last time that a band did a movie, right? Like the Tenacious D movie.
Yeah.
And I think back to the Beatles had like 4 movies, and like the Who had some movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like there was a point in time when everybody was making movies.
What was it? Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd had movies. Yep. And I don't know, it looks interesting. Go check out the trailer if you're a Foo Fighters or like a PG rated like horror movie. Yeah. I mean, just all like horror movies are PG-13 now, right? It doesn't seem like many are anymore.
I don't even know if they rate them anymore, since most of them just come out on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I also have an update on Encanto.
Oh.
So I did. No, I didn't. But I really did sit down and watch it, and we're at like an hour and 40 minutes. And I think that it's like the closing song, and I'm like, ready to get up. And I just hit pause just to check. There's still another 22 minutes left.
Ooh.
And honestly, even when I watch the movie, it's just a bunch of scenes. I have no idea what's going on with the plot. It's just like scene after scene with like song and dance. And I can't really figure out what's going on. So it just dazzled me with this one song, I guess, that was like stuck in my head for a week. But overall,
What was the one song? Everybody's talking about like no, I don't know the name of the song. I was like, nobody cares about Bruno or some shit like that.
I don't know. The one that was stuck in my head was Under the Surface.
Ah, okay.
Which I'll show it to you later, I guess.
Yeah, I found out the Encanto thing that was happening at Epcot is apparently a food booth where the foods are inspired by Encanto, which okay, seems cool.
I think it was in Mexico.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Either that or just some ambiguous, non-existent place that's meant to mirror.
Yeah. I have a bunch of small bites here. Small bites of news that we probably don't have a lot.
See an exterminator.
Yeah. I don't think we'll have a lot to say about them, but I thought they were all individually interesting, although not big.
Yeah.
Alex Lifeson from Rush, the guitar player,
Yep.
started a new band called Envy of None, and is I think he put out a single, and they're gonna have an LP out. I guess he's the only one who's really trying to do stuff. Geddy Lee hanging up his hat, and obviously Neil Peart is deceased. And there's supposed to be a song that is a direct tribute to Neil Peart on there. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I did see this story, but I didn't realize anything about a tribute to Neil, which I've already kind of decided I don't like it, and so then it's just like, oh man, now I feel bad.
I mean, it's so
like an industrial or something like that. It's
oh really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I'll have to follow up on that next week. Maybe I'll actually give it a listen if anything comes out. Paramore are back in the studio making their first album in 5 years. Paramore's cool.
Yeah,
I like them.
Yeah, me too.
Ronnie Spector passed away from the Ronettes, credited for being one of the first girl band sort of things. Really noticeable for that song that's on classic rock all the time, just like Ronnie said. You know, just like Ronnie said, be my little baby.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Gin Blossoms hit the road with the Bare Naked Ladies for the 30th anniversary tour of the album New Miserable Experience. I don't know any of their albums, but the Gin Blossoms and the Bare Naked Ladies seems like the bill. If you're going to put the two, like both those bands out there on tour, they should probably be touring together. They play them together.
Yeah, that's fine.
I wouldn't see it.
No, but it's fine for other people.
Speaking of touring, Celine Dion cancels all of her upcoming tours for severe and persistent muscle spasms. As a person with health issues, good luck, Godspeed. All of your friends here at Thrash Life Podcast are rooting for you, Celine Dion.
Yeah, I can empathize. I've had muscle spasms before.
I hope her heart will go on. If her muscles don't. Bringing it back to...
Did you put that in there just so you could make that joke?
No, I didn't. I just came up with it right off the spot.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Thrash metal. Mantic Ritual debuted a new EP. Did you see this?
I've seen that it's been coming for a long time, but I didn't know that the actual release has
So they made a single, right? And then they put out the single. And they put out...
The single was lackluster.
Yeah.
I thought.
They put out another song on the B-side of this EP. It's 2 songs pressed on vinyl, 300 copies, available through Bandcamp, probably manticritual.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, I did see that it was vinyl release.
Very short release. If you're a vinyl collector, I would suggest getting it because things that are limited to 300 copies tend to become pretty rare no matter what they are.
Yeah.
And
Mantic Ritual's liable to go back underground for the next decade.
Yes.
And then come back later.
But I had to mention this because Mantic Ritual was the inspiration for our band that we started in 2009 called Ralph. Ralph420.bandcamp.com if you want to check that out. Speaking of thrash that's a lot more accomplished, the San Francisco mayor named London Breed proclaimed December 16th as Metallica Day as the band kicked off its 40th anniversary San Francisco takeover celebration across the city.
It's fine too. But
yeah. We have Frank Zappa Day here. I think that like one of the Baltimore mayors declared Frank Zappa Day.
Yeah.
And I can't think
I mean,
of...
like one of the days last week apparently was National Fart Day. So like the days are getting out of control.
Yeah. You just describe anything to any day.
Yeah.
We're recording this actually on January 16th, and I declare January 16th to be Kermit the Frog in the studio day.
Yes, it also happens to be the birthday of a listener and friend of the show, Steve Wheeler.
Oh, what up, Steve?
Happy birthday to you. I guess got to mention tomorrow. Happy birthday, Heather.
Yes. Maybe a little bit more important than saying happy birthday to Steve.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Heather.
Well, Steve gets the bonus because it's actually his birthday today on the day we're recording.
That's true. And this will
but
probably
both listeners of the show, so thanks, guys.
This will probably release on a Friday, and this is a Sunday, so like
so that'd be
the 21st.
Yeah, the 21st.
Seems about right. Yeah. So I don't know if your birthday's on the 21st when this comes out. Happy birthday!
Yeah,
also.
Happy birthday to you if your birthday's on the 21st.
And if you're listening to this after the 21st, similarly, happy birthday. Even if it's not your birthday, happy birthday.
Yeah, you never know when people are going to listen to it.
It's true. Yeah. When I was
Wait
sick,
until your birthday.
Yeah.
Then listen to this.
Save it. Put it in the can. Baltimore Punk's Turnstile played the NPR Tiny Desk. The NPR Tiny Desk is a area about the size that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And they try to cram a whole band in there, and you get a set. They played 7 songs. Wasn't terribly familiar with Turnstile before, but they're pretty cool, man. They have a Rhodes organ up front that the singer uses, and then the guitar player is using like chorus pedals and a lot of stuff. So you got like a non-traditional punk sound. There's definitely those punk beats in there and other punk tropes like the singing, but they're pretty cool. I gave it 2 listens because it was that cool. So
I guess I'll have to give it 1.
Yeah, I would suggest checking it out. I guess they've been around a bit, and yeah, it's cool stuff. They played in a room. All the walls were all stuffed animals.
Oh,
and there's a big pile of stuffed animals.
Wonder what that does for the sound of the recording.
I was wondering if that was intentional.
A technique to start using. Because let me tell you, I got a house full of stuffed animals that need to go.
And 70,000 tons of metal. The Cruise has decided to return in January 2023 after canceling in 2021 and 2022. This is a cruise. They don't actually have a dedicated ship, but they like get a ship, and then they have the event is ship wide, and they have metal bands playing 24 hours a day, pretty much anytime you want to go in there. There's somebody playing. Cool if you want to see a wide variety of bands. I think if you wind up playing it, you wind up playing at like 3 a.m. or something for, but you still get to play. I mean, somebody's going to be awake at 3. So I've always said that, like, if I was going to go on a cruise, that might be the one.
Yeah, not a cruise guy over here, but if I was, maybe that would be it.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps up all the small bites of news that I found for all this time that we've been away. Yeah. But there are some other things that I found I want to talk about a little bit more in depth, like the Nirvana baby. So I guess
this motherfucker.
They're calling him the Nirvana baby. I mean, I guess I am too. He has a name. I didn't write it down because I'm an asshole.
Nobody would remember it or recognize it.
So they the baby, he's not a baby anymore, baby man.
Yeah. His name is Spencer.
Oh, okay. So he sued the band Nirvana, which one of the members is deceased now, for sex trafficking as well as child pornography and a lot of stuff. And the lawsuit just got thrown right out because obviously they weren't sex trafficking. Those laws are in place for like actual sex trafficking, not whatever he's doing. But like child pornography, he was naked. Like it shows his little baby dong on there, and apparently they were supposed to put the sticker that came on the wrapping. It was supposed to be over the baby dong, and there was some intentional move to not have it out there, which I find that a little weird.
I do find that to be weird. Yeah, but then again,
supposedly there's a version of the cover where the baby dong isn't there, and they chose the baby dong one instead of the other one.
I bet this kid would be even madder if they went with the one with no dick.
I mean, one of the things I think Dave Grohl had said something somewhere in an interview where he was like, "Look, you got the like Nevermind like album cover like tattooed on you. I don't have that. Like I don't really care about it that much." But he was suing for a lot of money, like millions of dollars. Emotional damages. He can't do all this stuff because he's the Nirvana baby, which. I mean,
I don't buy. Nobody knows his name.
Yeah, nobody knows his name.
Still looks like, exactly the same. Even then,
don't look like a baby. Like if you were still a baby, if you were like that small and you like didn't have any hair, and like and then people would be like, "Oh, even it's that baby."
Babies all just look like babies.
Yeah,
I never would be like, "Oh, that's the Nirvana baby, isn't it?"
So they dismissed the case, but he refiled it and dropped the part where the sex trafficking thing was in there, and he's just going for a more reasonable sort of charge. But even that, I mean, you think about like, so the album Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin has like a bunch of naked kids like in a pastel gradient, like kind of climbing up some rocks. You've got some definitely sketchy albums by the Scorpions in like the early 80s that have like literal like underage shit on them, and it's just Europeans are more prone to not make a big deal out of nudity or to see nudity as a lot less sexual thing. But you bring it over here to America, and there's just people who are.
Well, I think with the lawsuit, that's
weird about it.
Acceptable way to deal with it. Let him try to prove his case to somebody more qualified than me to judge him. Yeah. I don't buy it, but I'm not the one that needs to.
Yeah, that's what the legal system is here for. So,
I think if he would just learn to play the damn guitar, he could have got famous a lot quicker.
Maybe, yeah. They said Nirvana's music earned them at minimum tens of millions of dollars based off of his picture, and I think
that's why people bought the album.
Yeah, I don't think people bought the album because of the album cover. I think people bought the album because they saw it on MTV, they saw it or heard it played on the radio, and they saw it played in clubs, and they liked the music, and they bought the album. I don't think anybody blind bought the album based off the album
I mean,
cover.
And if they did, they need to go to jail.
And they're probably pretty disappointed. Like you buy like
either way, if you bought that album because it had a naked baby, and you had no idea what the music was.
So we'll keep up with this, and we'll see what happens to him in the future, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see.
Before we popped in, I sent you this next story. The groom performs an original metal song to his wife at their wedding reception. Solo artist John Morell, who makes metal under the name Sad Satan, all one word, performed a brand new song that he wrote for his wife, Francesca Morell, called Till We Rot at his wedding reception. I found this on Metal Injection, I think, and you can probably find the video on Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. And it's remarkably well shot. Like the wedding photographer did the video, so it's like 1080p, good lighting and everything. He's got like stage pyrotechnics going off in the background. His DJ buddy is like introducing him like he's like going into the WWE ring.
Way to show up your wife on her wedding day.
Yeah, and his wife sits in this like throne chair thing while he straps on a guitar over the tuxedo and he plays his song for her. It's not much of a song actually. It's like a recycled backing track, and like he just plays like a guitar lick for a bit, and there's no lyrics. So like while he's like playing this guitar lick for like 3 minutes, he's like mouthing "I love you," and she's like, "I know," and it's just like fucking weird.
The secondhand embarrassment of this one is Plus, Amigo the Devil has a song with at least the lyrics are I'll rot in hell with you. So like this till we rot, like we'll be together forever thing. It's like I don't even know if the title of his bullshit is original.
It's an interesting video.
I mean, I guess if she enjoyed it, then that's all that matters. But I think there's not a lot of people that would enjoy being put on the spot like that and embarrassed.
She didn't look embarrassed, but
she should have been.
One of the things I considered, like, we didn't have a wedding reception, but when I got married, I was like, if we did have a wedding reception, we could like have bands play, or and I'm in a band, we could play. And I ultimately made the decision to not even think about doing that because it seemed incredibly me and not us.
Yeah, and then even more than that, if you were like wrote a bad song on the spot about your future marriage to perform just that one song.
Yeah. And that's also the thing. This is encapsulated in their marriage for like all time. There's video and audio of this, and now it's a news story, and the whole internet knows. And it's just not.
And I don't think he's getting any jobs off of it, so it's not really gonna work out like that.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, kudos to you for like doing something nice. And if they both like it, then like all the more power to you. But
it just reminds me of this other wedding video I saw where the bride comes out to "Crazy Bitch" by Buck Cherry.
That's
You'll have to check that one out. It's something else.
That's rough.
Yeah.
So in episode 4, we mentioned that Motley Crue had sold their catalog for $150 million. You remember talking about that?
Yeah.
So while we were sick, some other people had sold their catalogs or started talking about selling their catalogs. And I did a bit of investigative journalism as to all of these different people selling their catalogs. A lot of them are undisclosed amounts, but one of the big ones that came out was that Bruce Springsteen reportedly sold to Sony Music for over $500 million. And as we go through these, we're going to find that that's actually like one of the highest amounts out of all this.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen kind of like well known for going after people who use his stuff for political means, because like Born in the USA, actually an anti-USA song, but like politicians and stuff don't like think, obviously that's why they're fucking politicians.
If you just clip that chorus, I mean,
it
serves its purpose.
So they clip the chorus and they come in on it, and like it seems like every election season somebody uses Born in the USA without realizing what the purpose of that song is, and Bruce Springsteen has to slap him on the hand and give him all sorts of fines. So
he's tired of dealing with it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these people are. So
now he's going to have to deal with this song being licensed to every politician to use however they see fit.
Yeah, because I think Sony Music's going to do whatever they want.
Oh, for sure.
And the person who got this all kicked off was Bob Dylan. Like a couple years ago, I think 2019, he had sold his catalog for more than $300 million. And that was like a big deal. And I think that got a lot of people thinking, why am I not selling? Especially when the pandemic rolled around. So we got Tina Turner selling her catalog and the rights to her likeness for $50 million, reported $50 million. Tina Turner making a hell of a lot less money than Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Then you got, let's see, Neil Young selling half of his catalog for $150 million, which includes Heart of Gold, Rocket in the Free World, and Cinnamon Girl. So all of his hits, essentially, are sold. Stevie Nicks sold 80%, a weird number, but 80% of her catalog. That included Landslide, Edge of 17, to publish her Primary Wave. And Primary Wave is like bought up most of these. I never even heard of Primary
images of songs.
I've never even heard of these guys until I started looking into this, and they mostly have done a lot of these deals where the number is undisclosed. And Imagine Dragons, now here's a band that's not even old.
Yeah.
They sold their back catalog for $100 million. So when Imagine Dragons gets to sell their back catalog for $100 million, but Tina Turner sells her catalog for $50 and her likeness. Now Tina Turner was in like the Who movie, Tommy. She was the there's like a drug scene or whatever with like some needles and stuff like that. And I mean, it just kind of blows my mind. Like
that's her likeness, the drug scene with the needles and stuff.
Well, she's done a lot more than that, but that's why from my teenage years, that's what I remember. Sorry, Tina Turner. You're always welcome on Thrash Life if you want to pop by. If your whoever controls your likeness will allow it. And so Red Hot Chili Peppers sold all of their pre-2020 material up to Hypnosis, which is their I guess one of their more recent albums, for 140 million. David Bowie's estate sold his entire catalog to Warner Chappell for 250 million. So big winners here so far are Bob Dylan, David Bowie's estate, Neil Young, and definitely Springsteen being the outright winner with 500 million. A cool half $1 billion for selling a catalog that's filled with all this
His
shit.
His music is like super commercially viable, though. It is. They might actually, in the long run, make some money off that deal.
Yeah, and it's just so weird though that like he probably has the most misunderstood catalog. Like a lot of his stuff is like anti-America.
Yeah, but I think when you like sort of muddy the waters with what these artists actually want for their music, it's worth a lot less because there's restrictions on things they won't do with it. Once these third parties get a hold of it, it's a cash cow because they just do whatever they want. They don't have any sort of emotions about it.
It'll be in every Chrysler commercial.
Yeah. Yep.
So I didn't find any metal people, but I did find, aside from Glenn Tipton, who was a guitarist with Judas Priest, sold 50% of his songwriting catalog to Reach Music for an undisclosed price.
Ooh, that means it was low.
Probably, yeah. Interestingly, there's a lot of people who are like speculating over reasons for this. One of the reasons that people are bringing up is that there are possible capital gains tax increases in the future, which is, when you get money, just getting money, somebody gives you win the lottery or you win a car, but you keep the cash value, or you do a large transaction like this where you're not really selling goods, you're selling like intellectual property or something, you do get taxed off of it. And it is at a pretty high rate, but it's a high rate because it's essentially free money. Like somebody's just dropping money in your account. You didn't really like provide value to the world for that money. Yeah. So that's why they tax it at such a high rate. And it's usually has to do with like super rich people.
Yeah.
And obviously we're talking about not super rich, but pretty rich numbers here, but in the millions of dollars.
Only $500 million.
Yeah, only $500 million. So, you sell it for $500 million now, get the spitballing numbers here, get the 40% tax rate instead of selling it later and getting the 50% tax rate. Yeah. You're going to wind up on top. Another reason is that most of these people are old and they're looking to retire or plan estates. So instead of trying to get that trickle of money that they've gotten all their life, they're just trying to get a big fat lump sum, check the fuck out.
Yeah, I think there's also, I think sort of across all classes, there's like a generational thing going right now where like, I'm not leaving anything behind. I'm going to spend it all or whatever. And so there's probably a little bit of that, but then also a little bit of like, imagine that, one of your parents passes away and rather than just leaving you a nice lump sum of money, they leave you this entity that's a burden that needs to be managed. Yeah, and they have no idea if you're going to screw it up or not.
No, I mean, certainly, with David Bowie, and I believe they're arguing over like Prince's estate and stuff like that. They had to value all of his stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Plus the fight over it just becomes...
Yeah, because especially if you don't expect to pass away and maybe your will is non-existent or maybe outdated, it just becomes such a shit show for these artists. They said like lack of touring and low Spotify revenue could also be like another thing. So you're not getting your usual tour guarantees, and the Spotify revenue, even though these artists are making hundreds and hundreds of plays and are actually getting real Spotify checks, getting 500 million is a lot better than just getting 10 grand every month.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of like, do you get the cash option when you win the lottery, or do you get the payments or the installments or whatever?
Yeah.
And the last reason that they talked about is having to represent claims in court as these people get older and people, like use their shit for political purposes or, do whatever else without paying for them. These publishing companies, Sony Music, and here we got Universal, we got Warner, we got and that other weird one, what was it called?
Reach.
Primary Wave, and Reach Music.
Yeah.
So like these guys are the ones who DMCA your material online when you go to play their song and shit. Like they have the infrastructure to actually protect their stuff.
That's what I mean about I think that there's a pretty big disparity about like what the music's worth licensing wise to the artist, and then what it's worth to these companies.
Mm-hmm. So I thought it was pretty interesting. The discrepancy here where like a lot of people are not disclosing prices, but if they do get disclosed and you see like Tina Turner on here for such a low amount. Also, John Legend, a pretty artist who's still doing stuff right now, sold his catalog, and you have other people in there in the R&B space. Their stuff went for a lot less than these classic rock guys, and it kind of blows me away because I kind of feel like the R&B stuff and the hip hop stuff is worth every bit as much as Motley Crue's catalog for one, or Imagine Dragons, or I mean, maybe Imagine Dragons will get somewhere someday and be considered classic rock in the future. Red Hot Chili Peppers certainly already is classic rock, still performing stuff. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of Bob Dylan, and I understand, Neil Young, Stevie Nicks. These people have really iconic songs and stuff. But
I think these are all just commercially viable catalogs.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like the kind of stuff that you want to sell a Chrysler.
You're not seeing anybody buying like the 9 Inch Nails catalog right now.
Oh boy, yeah, jeez. Fucking like Trojan or Durex, like in the downward spiral. That would be good. My last story that we have here today is this Colorado music store that hooked a kid up with a donated Dream guitar. Did you see this on Facebook?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it. It was cool.
There was a kid who went into this music store in Colorado, and he would visit from this nearby town called Montrose, I guess. His request each time was to play the Pantera guitar, which is Dimebag Darrell's signature spiky design.
It's a Razorback or something.
Yeah, and it has like a lightning bolts all over it. It's a pretty cool looking guitar. It's I usually find that with these guitars, the weird body shape makes them like super unbalanced and heavy on the one end, and just a pain in the ass.
They look
to
cool though,
play.
but they look gigantic.
Yeah, this one's actually a little bit better than like the Explorers and the V's and stuff because the shape lets you like keep it on your leg.
Yeah,
as opposed to the other ones. But they said we were shocked to know he knew some Dimebag riffs. Fallon, the kid, is impacted by Williams syndrome and has an excellent knowledge and a love for music. His dream was to own this guitar. So 8 months ago when he was in the store playing it and another customer took notice of Fallon, it moved the customer so much that he returned to the store later, purchased the guitar, and asked us to give the guitar to Fallon anonymously the next time we saw him. However, we didn't see Fallon until today because they moved like right afterwards. And then I guess like 8 months later, they came into the store and they were like, oh yeah, we moved to Texas and we returned this week for a visit to see family or whatever. And they were able to finally give him the guitar and take a picture, and Mom burst into tears and Fallon was super excited. And they said it was a special moment. There are still good people in the world. It seemed cool.
Yeah. Little palate cleanser for the end of the show there.
I saw some other people on Facebook actually who had a glut of gear. I guess they had gear acquisition syndrome at some point in their life. And they had extra half stack rigs and extra medium level guitars. And they wanted to find a player who was like a bedroom player who was actually practicing all the time, who would actually like get some use out of it. And they like wound up donating a half stack and a guitar to this kid's family. And that video was pretty cool as well. I'll see if I could find that. I'll post it in the show notes. Worth noting that Alrosa Village in Ohio, where Dimebag was killed 17 years ago, was actually demolished in December. They tore that club down.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That was wild.
I mean, I don't think
time.
it's even related. I think they probably just went out of business and the place was dilapidated.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like some thing where they're being noble about it.
No. Given that he got shot in the first place, I mean, not a great club, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how you like just get through the front door with a shotgun, because that's what happened.
Oh, was it a shotgun?
The guy had like a shotgun.
Oh, Jesus.
And yeah, I think somebody in the audience had a gun and took the guy out. That was a really weird moment, because I remember at that moment when that happened, everybody was kind of like, "Oh, I didn't realize this is a thing that could happen," and then they all kind of came to and were like, "Well, I guess shit, this could happen anytime in the future, also." And
kind of nixed the old getting up on stage.
Yeah, certainly for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got that I found in the world for this past week.
I got a podcast recommendation, a podcast called The Vanished. And if you look it up, the most recent episode is about Melanie, which is a woman from Glen Burnie, Maryland, that went missing, I believe, in 2018. And then they found a piece of her leg in Point Pleasant. And it seems, if you listen to the podcast, seems to me pretty obvious who did it. But the cops kind of screwed everything up. And once evidence is gone, it's gone.
Right.
So if you are in or were in the Glen Burnie area, specifically Chesapeake Glen Apartments, which formerly known as Green Tree.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe listening to this podcast will jog your memory and help get this one bastard what he deserves.
Yeah. Pretty messed up. Not a big fan of seeing body parts wash up in my local bodies of water.
No. Plus, just the family cooperated with the podcast, so obviously they're on board with this and they want some answers.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, I hope, if you have some information out there and you want to, if you want to, you should.
Yeah.
I'm guilting you into
I don't know, though. I mean, I don't know who to reach out to. Hopefully, I think the Vanished might have had some numbers, because it doesn't sound like the police are going to do anything.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, police.
Yeah. And thanks for joining us.
Yes. So, as we say every week, Thrash Life is recorded in Baltimore, Maryland at Orion Studios. You can find Orion Studios at orionsound.com. Lovely lockout rooms. You might be able to hear in the background that somebody is practicing in the hourly room rate. They're going to be building some more studios here, and you can get in to one of those lockout rooms as well if you wish. Medusa Head Media is our overarching brand of publishing music videos, sure, why not? Yeah. As well as printed materials. We're looking to do more things in 2022, help more people get their stuff out there. So if you have a musical or print project, something like a zine or a game, or I don't know, whatever, you want to be on the podcast,
maybe you want to make a movie, maybe we can,
you want to bring your own podcast out and get it distributed, we would love to be part of the process. You can reach us at medusaheadmedia@gmail.com. Also, if you are a musician, you'd like to go through the interview challenge and be on this show talking about your personal experiences as a musician, feel free to reach out that same email, medusaheadmedia@gmail.com. It's been a blast today talking to you. It's always a blast to be able to come in the studio and do something instead of hide in our houses during the age of COVID. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment telling us if you could smell our breath or something weird. I don't
Yeah.
know. God, I don't even know what the hell I'm thinking. If you don't like the look of our faces or the smell of our breath, you can check us out on podcast. We're on all podcast platforms. You can listen to audio as you go on your daily commute or work throughout your day. It's been a blast. Thank you, Kyle, for being here. Thank you, Kermit, for being here. If you're a big fan of Kermit, please leave a comment saying how much you love Kermit and if you want him to stay on the show.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Kermit might get the X if you don't leave us some comments.
And thank you for sticking by, listening to the podcast. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.